Geek Dad Life presents live reactions to Season 3 of The Mandalorian. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to live reaction of Season 3 of The Mandalorian. With me, as always, on this journey of Star Wars, talking my good friends, Ralph and Matt. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great.
Ecstatic.
Yes, excited to be here talking Star Wars, and excited to hang out with everybody in the chat as well. It is hopping, even just, a mere hours after the episode dropped. No, that's actually Ralph's show.
Yeah,
20 hours after it dropped.
I'm glad we're at the finale because I'm gonna enjoy the break of not waking up super early to watch them. So
yeah, good. I would feel the same way if I was in your shoes, my friend. We got Mike Hext here. We got Cobweb. We've also got a lot of Cobb and Hex back and forth. We got Toy Taurus. Charlie Weaver's in the house. We also got Casino Skunk Productions. Can't wait to get ripped into. JT Kell is here. Tommy the Duck. Oh Lord, this is the K. That's he's referring to herself in the third person now. We've also got where is it? Mutagen Ooze is here. Allison Troy, Ralph 100% would not recommend. But yes. And Lab Rat. I think I missed Lab Rat. Hello, Lab Rat. Okay, so I will usually ask y'all's thoughts first, but I feel like this is the finale. This is the way. And the way this season ended for me was it was all right. It didn't blow me away. I like where it ended, I guess, but it just felt very there was a recent Honest trailer about the Shazam 2, and I think they made the joke that the script was written by ChatGPT, and like just the way the story is flown, and especially the finale, just felt like almost you asked ChatGPT to write the script. And that meant there was some cool things, but also some things like you're just kind of plug and playing stuff here. But that was my just initial thoughts. There's stuff I liked in it, but I wasn't like, yeah, all right. That was great. That was my feelings. Matt, let's start with yours, and then we'll close with Ralph.
Oh, okay. So I just have to bring the enthusiasm here
because you don't have to.
Because Ralph was already like down.
Ralph was already down. You don't have to. If you're entitled to your opinion.
I liked it. There were things that I was expecting to happen that didn't. So I was really excited that the armor didn't turn out to be bad.
Yes.
Axe Woves proved his loyalty. All of those things I was really satisfied with. I was surprised by some things. I liked the way that and I liked that it was really jumped into action. We just got it really felt like a solid part 2. Mm-hmm. To be sure, like it just was like boom, we're back in the action. With this epilogue at the end, which I do enjoy when finals have that little bit of space to breathe, and if anything, really felt like they were setting up for I don't know, like book 2. Like if these were chapters, this really felt like book 1 is done now. So especially just in general, it just was like, okay, and we've closed that book, if this was the book of Boba Fett, anyway, those were my initial thoughts. I was there for it. There were some scenes that we got that I was so excited by, like seeing the Mandalorians face off and Bo wielding that darksaber flying next to the armor. Like I was just like, yes, this is what I wanted, and their bowmance can continue. So,
listen, I love that, man. Again, there's things I liked. I just felt it didn't get enough chance to breathe for me.
Mm.
Like the beats were fine. It just felt very just like, and now we're gonna do this scene, and now we're gonna do this scene. Ralph, what was your thoughts, my friend? I missed live action this morning because I had to work.
I thought it was terrific.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say terrific? I meant unimaginative. I hated it. I really didn't care for it. I really didn't care for it. Now, here's the thing for me is like, I've loved this season.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every episode I've been like, this is great. This is crazy. This is insane. I really felt this was unimaginative.
Yeah.
Really unimaginative.
Well,
it
what
boiled down to
made it that for you, I guess.
And I, again, like Matt, there was stuff I was hoping to see that I didn't get to see.
Yeah.
Is it that's not on the show. That's on me for how expectations of like the armorer being a spy and Axe Woves being a spy. And but when it comes to season finales, like the Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 finales were really had something there.
Yes.
It had moments. And I don't care enough about the Darksaber.
Yeah.
For when it was broken that I cared.
Yeah.
It was the same as last week. I didn't care much about the character Paz Vizsla.
Mm-hmm. Because his whole purpose is like
wasn't
to be a tank or a Gatling gun or whatever. Like
he's like if you've seen Hot Shots, the movie Hot Shots, he was dead meat. He played dead meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no, I kind of felt more like you, Ralph. Like again, there was those moments, like Matt's saying. I love the Force, Grogu, blocking the fire. Like I got a little emotional at that. I felt like that. Again, they had these moments, but they just didn't feel like they had as much of an emotional kick or it felt they jumped through this season, like the story progression so much.
So here's the thing.
I like it as hard as the previous season finales did.
I'm gonna bring out a toy. I think I brought it out before, but this is.
Oh, is this gonna go into a toy discussion?
But I
talk about segues. Like
it's open.
Well,
okay, so the Flash Gordon serials. The Flash Gordon serials are popular, or about like the cliffhanger endings.
Yeah.
And you come back next week to see how they get out of that.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And last week we saw Din get captured.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Only to immediately get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no drama there.
Yeah.
And what we get after that is him going through literally a video game level and getting captured again.
Mm-hmm.
Only to be saved by Bo-Katan, who can just pop in through the ceiling.
But he wasn't captured; he was just fighting. I mean, he's got the thing around his neck, but I don't know. I didn't feel it. I think either Ralph or do I have? I don't know who's echoey, but
I'm not hearing an echo.
I'm hearing an echo.
You are?
I'm hearing. Yeah. It's like the greatest ever told. Okay. I enjoyed the fact that Mando and Grogu fought together.
Yes.
As opposed to there being this Grogu moment where he saves him or Mando saves Grogu. They were actually working jointly in this fight against the guards. And then to have that Bo-Katan Grogu Din team up there at the end to take down Gideon, I liked that unit, because it was kind of like the family fighting unit that we had kind of been presented. So to see them saved by Grogu, to see him use this and he in the Force that he's using now, like he's not being completely passed out from using it. So you see that like he's leveling up as well. So it's weird to me because I was completely satisfied with the episode. I was like, this was cool. I liked all of these moments that happened, even when the video game happened, like the video game moment where he's got to go through each level and fight each boss. I don't know. I just was like, okay, we have this, like he's going to level up each time until we face that big boss. and then to have the humor thrown in with R5 fighting the mouse droids.
Love the R5, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I like that.
Sure, who doesn't? I mean, the little mouse droids like lit up their little police.
Yes,
and he actually takes one of them out.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Grogu's still like in the IG unit. Gets to save Din with the no, and grabs, but he's still a peacemaker. In many ways, we don't see Grogu, even the force that he was using, he was only using to like help aid Din in the fighting.
That's something I noticed in Rebels, and where we started our Rebels rewatch this week, and Ezra never kills a stormtrooper.
Yes,
he uses stun weapons and stuff, and I want to say that even goes through the whole series. I think so. I can't imagine.
He just did the Purgle episode, but
no, there is a moment where well, I don't want to spoil anybody watching Rebels, but there is a moment in which he does have. It's shown that he is kind of killing, and it's when he's kind of going on a darker path. I can't follow you. Anyway,
see, I think the echo's coming back.
Baby, come back. You can blame it on.
We're all wearing headphones, so it doesn't make any sense.
Are you sure your headphones are engaged, Mr. Bluetooth headphones?
100%.
See, everybody at home, Ralph loves his Bluetooth, but it's never as effective as a wired headphone.
See, I like things that are blue. I'm wearing all blue tonight.
My cat's in a blue little chair down here. I'm wearing
no spoilers. Okay, it's been out for like 10 years now, okay? I mean, fine.
Wait, what's spoilers?
We don't have to hear my opinions ever again.
No, I love your opinions, Matt. No, I think what they're saying is you have an echo, so they get to hear it twice.
Oh, okay.
But okay, let's break through. Let's go through this, right? So the armorer was not a bad guy, which I was actually okay with. I think what was weird for me was just the way the scenes were shot, and and maybe it's just my overactive brain or a brain that has been so programmed to things, but I feel like there's also like a responsibility in your framing and how you set up shots and things, where why spend so much time of setting, or at least I was feeling tension of breaking through and not knowing what's happening on the other side, to then not fulfill on that tension, where I think in the beginning of this episode, they're like, all right, we're sending out the TIE fighters now. So I was like, oh, so they're actually not up there right now. So I guess there's nothing going on up there. And it seemed like you had this thing where you couldn't communicate with the upper level, and they were setting up the kind of tenseness of that and how long it took to get through to and even Axe Wolves today, how intense it was for him to get through, that I feel like, I don't know, I was like, oh, once they go through, it's going to be like insane up there.
Yeah, it's going to be Jedi. It's going to be
everything's gone to hell. But it's just like, nope, everything's fine. We just got to go down to the planet now and beat up the bad guys.
There's no drama. There's like it's everyone's either a good guy Mandalorian or a bad guy Gideon Super Trooper.
But we had to have the Mandalorians come together for one cause.
Well, absolutely.
So this united them. So I like that we get that unification at the very end, especially with the Great Four.
But that's where it's like, I like all the moments. It just felt like they were so rushed. Like the scene where they go underground and you see that Mandalore isn't dead, and they spent time planting and harvesting these things. It's like they literally walk in there and it's like, oh, they're back, so we got to go now. It's like everything's fine, the planet's still alive, but we got to go now. It just, you have these really neat moments, and it's like maybe you should have taken 12 episodes or something just to give it space to breathe, instead of like, we need to hit these 10 points and we got 30 minutes.
Go ahead, Ralph. I've talked about.
Well, I was going to say that, like they I completely lost my train of thought. When you do a story, You usually have an ending in mind to kind of work to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole season, it's been reclaiming Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
So you think like that's where the plan would lead everybody to.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of is like, we're going to gather Mandalorians and go take back our planet. And we didn't even find out till like last week that Gideon was there.
Yeah.
So what were they? I don't understand what their motivations were for going back, other than just going and checking it out, sending out a search party.
Yeah.
And it really only took like a dozen or so drop ships of Mandalorians, like to go and do this thing that they haven't been able to do for a generation.
Mm-hmm.
It just
they thought Mandalore was uninhabitable, so they didn't even know if they could.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was set up at the very beginning of the season, just to even know.
And then it was set up by, and then it was the rumors were squashed by episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
About
that the planet is habitable or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, like up to that point, that's why like there's a whole generation of people not being able to live, know if they can even go there. So I don't know why it's still echoing.
It's pretty echoing.
I'm not hearing any echo, so maybe it's me. Maybe I need to mute. But you guys talk. No, I will just say this one thing. I forgot what I was gonna say. I just to the point of like retaking Mandalore, it was like 2 episodes, and I feel like maybe it should have been 4 episodes. Like I just
but move them forward into the timeline. As much as I like the Jack Black and Lizzo stuff, you could have pushed this stuff forward to create more story. Yeah, it looks like Jay.
Well, I mean,
Jay's got something going on.
One of one of the things that we had mentioned, even like from the first episode, is we kind of felt like that wasn't like a true first episode. It felt like an introductory episode or something like that. Like, hey, let's fill in all the people that missed Book of Boba Fett on what's happening. And I felt that episode 2 was where the story should have started, with us going to Mandalore, and I think a lot of fans felt like excited, like we're going to be on Mandalore, we're going to get more exploration, but then, to just punt it to the last 2 episodes, we feel cheated and robbed because we had to spend so much time on the Florida planet,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just going to call it that, even though I know Florida doesn't look like a barren wasteland with monsters.
No,
but
yeah. It's like Florida. It's like Florida and Arizona had a baby.
There you go. Florzona. So,
Florzona, yeah.
And so knowing that season 4 they've written, and it makes me wonder with where they wanted to end this season, with certain plot points and beats, kind of like, okay, well now they can do a time jump. You can have Ahsoka, you can have a whole year or 2.
Mm-hmm.
In which, when we do come back to Mandalore, we see that life has returned, perhaps, to the surface.
That's the thing, is they set up a lot of stuff in this that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Mando being more Mando focused on going on missions for the New Republic.
Correct.
That sounds amazing.
Love that.
Mandalore becoming more lush and getting its sort of beauty back.
Yes.
Love it. A lot of that stuff I love. But that all came after in the epilogue, and I feel like the stuff that came before could have been more interesting. I would have liked. I don't like rewriting things that are presented to me, but like I feel like once Din was captured, he could have used Din as bait for Grogu, because the whole thing is he's trying to get Grogu to get midichlorians into his.
But I guess he already did it, because he was like, I already got my clones right here.
But he didn't have
really easy to kill them. Like, all you need to do is just like leave my clone room open, and then you just kill them with a button.
There's no tension. There's no suspense. So I'm thinking, like, let's get Grogu strapped to a table, Din incapacitated, and let's see tubes going into Moff Gideon. Like, I want to see, like, that is drama. That's like the carbon freeze chamber. Like, it's scary. And then that's when Bo comes in and stops it. But I mean, why? I just feel like it could be more interesting, more than just Din's fighting Praetorian guards, and Din's fighting Moff Gideon, and then Bo-Katan comes in to help. Like that's like again from like a 1936 serial, which these are sort of based on. But it's been almost 100 years. We got to really like ramp up the stakes. There's no stakes. Not at any point did I feel like Baby Yoda was in trouble. I didn't think Din was in trouble. I mean, he was able to go through a whole corridor of guys, and he wasn't really beaten down. Like we like Rocky movies because Rocky gets beaten down, and pushed to his limits. Not once did I feel like Din was pushed to his limits, either mentally with Grogu being cool and running around on the thing, or with his own physical self. Like his armor is.
There was a little bit when like the guards were going after Grogu and he was like incapacitated. Like there was some of that, but I do agree. It's just like you had this cool moment where like the Moff Gideon clone opens his eyes, like, oh shit, they're all gonna come alive and like bust out of their tanks. And
so
it was
again,
like, just kidding. He has a self-destruct button.
He could do that on Navarro. That can happen on Navarro. I'm assuming Grief Karga knocked out that cloning facility on Navarro with all those tanks that we assumed was Snoke, but could be Moff Gideon. Let's do Agent Smith. Let's get it. Let's get all these.
I wanted it now. Like you had. Why open his eyes if he wasn't gonna like bust out and have like a bunch of naked force sensitive Moff Gideons running around? Like that's cool.
But they weren't force sensitive. He hadn't gotten that.
I thought he said he made them force sensitive. I thought this was his whole thing. All those clones
his whole thing was he wanted to become force sensitive.
I thought he said his clones were force sensitive.
He wanted Grogu to make them, but even then, Moff Gideon on his own is pretty tough dude.
Yeah,
and
he had the robot
versus
suit.
however many of them.
He did have like cybernetic.
He had that robot suit. You know, it was like he was in But so the whole scene with the clones of Moff Gideon, and you know, for fans of Dark Empire and that comic series, you know, this is how the Emperor comes back as in these clone tanks, and Luke has to fight them, and they're basically like coming out of these tanks. So, you know, to me, I was like thinking, oh, this is what we'll have. I guess I wasn't disappointed that I didn't get it, because I was just like, I don't know. I just was along for the ride.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just in the right place.
Like
the one thing I want to point out that my son, who enjoyed it as well. In fact, my son and my daughter immediately started to argue in the middle of this episode, which I felt like true Star Wars fans. Like we couldn't get through the entire episode without the two of them just being like, no. And that's like two dogs going. I was like, stop. Just let's watch the show, okay? So the thing that my son absolutely, he's like, no, practically ruined the episode, is at the end, the circle that comes down on, he was really annoyed by that. He really just hated the fact that it came down and held a second on Grogu Force.
Oh yeah, that's all, folks.
Yeah, he just was like, what? No.
I loved it. To me, like that ending, even though it just felt like we're just gonna like skip ahead to the end and give you the thing. I loved it because that's what I wanted. Like the second he offers, like, hey, got a tract of land, you can live there with your kid, and I was like, choose. That's the option. Choose that. Don't have to try and rebaptize yourself. Do that thing. So again, I was happy it was there, and I love that because it goes back. It was season 1, right, when you know Grogu's just like playing out in the dirt with the little kids and the frogs and everything, and with a girl that I guess had the hots for me. I was like, he could be happy here. He could have this life. And so like, I really love that. I really did. And I didn't mind the little,
I think it was just that part. That was the part that my son was just like, no, he was just very much like, what is that? What the hell? He just was very adamant. But to your point though, I do like, and maybe we should read between the lines, or maybe it's just red herrings as we've had from Lost. But the creators have said that the Mandalorian could stand for other people, and perhaps it's not just for Din Djarin.
Sure, yeah, and that's fine. Yeah.
But with the end of this, like I said, it feels like a complete book for this.
I felt like that at the end of season 2, though, with Luke.
Did it?
When he handed Grogu off to Luke,
Yeah, I thought it
his
was
story
the
arc
end,
was,
not
I'm a
season
dad,
2.
and I'm sending him to be protected.
See, to me, I felt like that was a bigger cliffhanger because, yes, he was giving him away, but they had established that they were a clan of 2. So I just always kind of assumed that they would needed to come back together.
But from episode 1 and into episode 2 of the first season, the whole thing is this guy's a killer and he's a bounty hunter and he does everything by a specific code. And then as soon as he meets this child, he'll do anything to protect this child.
Yes.
And he does a vow that he'll return this child to his people, which he
Right.
did at the end of season 2. So I'm like, that's kind of his arc.
And
then
the quest
in Book of
is
Boba
ended,
Fett, and then Book of Boba Fett, and this season, The Mandalorian, there's not really much more to add to his story unless you introduce new things. And so they kind of tracked Bo, which I really liked a lot. I really like Bo-Katan in this season. I feel like her just coming in to punch Moff Gideon isn't like I wanted more from her character, and I know it's cool to see her flying with the Darksaber. But
can't we just not have nice things? That's all I'm saying. Okay?
But that's not story for me. That's not character stuff. Like it's cool to see that, but then when it comes time to like boots on the ground fight Moff Gideon, like it's just kind of I don't know. I kind of miss the days of Star Wars having lightsaber fights with dialogue. So you kind of know what's going on in the character's head. I guess we do. She wants to be Moff Gideon, but there has to be some sort of banter back and forth that helps you, like that Vader Obi-Wan fight in the Obi-Wan show. I loved, and Vader saying like you killed Anakin, you're dead, you created Darth Vader. Like that kind of stuff, it gives me chills. Not just fighting and blowing up dudes doesn't give me chills. And I kind of wish that there was a little more back and forth. And then I just want to say, like, again, Flash Gordon at the end of the first serial, Flash Gordon, Ming the Merciless gets blown up. And then in the second serial Flash Gordon, you find out that Ming is impervious to fire. And I 100% believe that Moff Gideon is still out there. And not even a clone. This version, this dude.
There's Moff. There's several clones,
because he could have jumped off of that ledge, and I mean, there was a Star Destroyer landed on all of them.
Yes,
but I feel like they survived because of the Force. But I feel like Moff's armor was pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, he had some upgraded armor for sure.
I feel like he's coming back, which is good.
Can we say I do think if they come back for another Mando, it does set up a very like each week an episode, a mini mission every week. It's great, and I love how he wants to work with the the Outer Rim and kind of keeping
because the New Republic's in shambles.
It is.
So here's a dude that knows the Outer Rims and can get to where he needs to go and stuff. So it'll be fun. Bring in
that was like
Trapper Wolf and those guys.
Well, I think with the Ahsoka show and with the introduction of Thrawn, and if they're moving towards something that culminates all of these characters together, we have another big bad out there. So you can bury Moff for an entire season.
Yeah, you could.
Or
he's kind of small potatoes.
Somehow he can return.
Somehow Moff Gideon return. But it does allow that shell game to happen. Like if Thrawn is the next bad, if we have adventures of Din and Din Grogu, having their dad and son.
I
love Din Grogu, by the way. I really love that name.
It doesn't make sense.
Why? His house Din or whatever, so he's Din Grogu. I loved it.
Wouldn't it be Grogu Din?
No, because Din starts. I don't know. I don't know their naming or nomenclature of how they freaking. I think this. It sounds good. Din Grogu. I dug it.
Sir Din Grogu.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry.
Someone brought that up this morning. I'm like, I think it might have been Scott D. It is 100% correct. He has been knighted. I fully accept that he has been knighted by Lizzo. And I will stand by that knighthood.
Yeah, I respect that as well.
I want to see them go back to that planet in season 4, and I want to see that like planet completely. Like I want to see the Logans run in flames. Like I want to see it kind of like the
I wouldn't mind seeing them show up on Navarro in like a big fancy spacecraft.
Ooh, that would be interesting too. I like that we still keep with Navarro, and there's still more that can happen there. And it
felt quick. Again, I was just like, oh, here's the IG-11 payoff. But I was cool with it. Like, it's neat. It just felt so quick. I was just like, oh, okay.
I like IG-11 back.
There were certain moments that it was kind of like I could just see the dumb Star Wars headline news of like, Mandalorian season 3 like failed to do, whatever. I think I remember specifically one, like after the Darksaber is crushed in this, I remember the headline, it like flashed across in my mind. It was like, the Mandalorian has a Darksaber problem, because it's clickbait. They're clickbait headlines like, oh, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 I was like, well, not anymore. Or do they? Because in the Ahsoka trailer, we see the robot that is basically a lightsaber smith.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So it's kind of just like Moff Gideon. It's like, is it dead?
But are people going to jump all over it because now it's Ahsoka fixing Mandalorian? Like the way that like
be that robot.
But no, I mean the show. Like it would be like people jumping all over J.J. Abrams because he fixed Luke's lightsaber and fixed Kylo Ren's helmet, and like, is it going to be that thing?
Yeah,
I wasn't saying that it would appear in Ahsoka. I just think that there's an in for those characters to like meet with, or in season 4, whatever they have planned out. Will we see more of these characters?
What do you think?
We got a lot more before then.
A season 4 of the Mandalorian.
Do you think we'll get a season 4? Do we know we're getting a season 4?
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. They had written out a lot of season 4, so they have things planned out. Okay. So that's why I was kind of thinking like, well, some of these things like the gardens, you can be a warrior and a gardener. Apparently, you can travel the planet on a pirate ship, but you could also be a gardener. So you could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
And R5 is the unsung hero of this entire
I loved. Listen, I don't want people to feel like I'm just saying this now after the fact, but I've always loved R5D4. I don't really have receipts other than I've owned R5, an R5 toy for
in multiple versions.
Well, I had the original one, like of the 5 original Kenner ones, I had an R5D4, and I always thought it was just like, look at that one, that's different. He's cool. I like that guy. Yeah. And I was so excited when Power of the Force 2 did an R5D4, but for some reason he was a freaking rocket launcher. And, but still, I went and bought him because I was like, R5, he's my guy. And
I just stiff third leg.
I think.
Yeah, exactly. It was awful.
I think it was supposed to connect to the tales of like Mos Eisley, or the tales of like it connected to one of those tales because it related to that. I just know from that time period. Sorry.
So I know there's no way to prove my fanship of R5.
Where's your tattoo?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a tattoo. I love R5's glow up this season, and I loved every bit of his story in this episode.
Yeah. It was fun.
And I love that we're getting another Black Series R5. I already have a 3.75-inch R5, but maybe this one will be better. So, because I need a new R5 for my N1 Starfighter.
What I really loved about the show was you saw those details of R5 and like the scratches on the wear and tear of the paint. Even on Bo's helmet at the very end, like you see how her mask has been now scuffed up from the battle. So I liked those like little detail. Like they definitely put that. It's baked into those I don't know, the realism aspect. It doesn't seem fake in that way. So, and I liked that Axe proved to be loyal. And that he did this really cool thing that. I don't know, just even that visual of here comes this Star Cruiser down.
He got out though, right?
He did.
All of those Mandalorians coming out as it's coming in. It just, I don't know. I I was so
I was
excited.
afraid they were going to be like, he sacrificed himself for the mission. And I'm like, but he's got a jetpack. He can get out real easy, right? Once this thing is aimed, he can take off. And he did. So I was like, okay, that's good.
The whole time he was going down, I was like, all right, well, he still has plenty of time to leave the ship. He better not sacrifice himself with the ship. And then I was like, okay, good. I was like, that would have been really stupid. Maybe not quite. And I get the impact of it, but the Charlie in Lost, like locking himself and things, like, you could have gotten out of there, man. But that's fine. We still all remember the hand on the window.
Didn't have to die.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, every time Bo yelled for axe, it kind of sounds like she just says ass. Just pointing that out there. No, this is a family-friendly show.
It's family-friendly as long as you don't read the chat.
Okay. So the mythosaur in the water.
Yep,
yeah, I was okay. Are we bummed we didn't get like the Bo riding the mythosaur today?
I mean, it was an expectation that we were all sort of thought was going to happen, but I mean, it was set up. It was so set up.
Yes.
And also, we did is we got him winking at Grogu at the end. It was like, what? Okay, all right. We know we didn't forget that it was still down there. The show didn't have to remind us it was still down there.
Yes.
So it was almost like insult to injury. It was,
Although my crackpot theory still lives, we're gonna see Grogu flying on the mythosaur. I mean, we've got the Rancor. We've got a longer
burn.
Yeah, it's a longer burn. So, and I think that's what I'm. Okay, legit complaints about season 3.
Okay.
Season 1, it started out 3 episodes, felt like a super movie, and it felt like we were taking no prisoners.
Yes.
Right. And even season 2, we had those episodes that just felt like, oh, they're moving along with this. How season 2 ended. Oh yeah, we're moving along. Whereas this one, it felt like an accordion, and we had these like little moments. And, I think the fan base of Star Wars is so hypercritical.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that we can pick out each, there's an episode throughout the season that we can all pick out and hate on. But it's weird that I run across Star Wars and non-Star Wars fans that like some of the ones that we pick on, or the ones that were kind of like that I've heard other fans, complain about. I mean, the whole side story, that took place on Coruscant, was, lampooned and, picked apart by a lot of, fans across the board. But I was surprised. I know you do. I was really surprised. One of my daughter's friends, that's her favorite episode of the season. I was like, really? And she is not like a diehard Star Wars fan. So I was kind of
the thing. It was focused on character. They had a story to tell about this character.
Yeah.
And you get comfortable. You'll feel bad for him. You want him to be friends. He opens himself up to this other person who's in this sort of facility, and they become friends, and they come together and find solutions to go get some stuff. And it just turns out there's the drama at the end where she was a turncoat, and it breaks your heart. But it's nice because it does tell a story. Like from the jump, Din has just been the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
There's no other really. He wants to protect his kid.
Yeah.
It's a pretty basic story. Bo-Katan, I found a little more interesting because her character wasn't just, she had some struggle. She was sitting in her castle, like mad with a chip on her shoulder. Doesn't understand why.
Ready to kill Din Djarin, and just like, we're gonna get rid of it once and for all.
But she had some changes, and same with Armor had some changes where like they understand that, hey, we might have different ideals here, but we all have the same goal, which is take over Mandalore.
Yeah.
And reclaim it. So it's like I like that kind of stuff. I like the character stuff. And just like, and even though I didn't like this episode, this was my least favorite episode of this season. Guess what? Ahsoka's in a couple months, and I can move past it. So, I was telling a story earlier, like 10 days before episode 1 came out, I'd waited 17 years or whatever for a new Star Wars. 10 days before Phantom Menace came out, I drove to Hollywood from Anaheim, picked up 10 tickets, and then drove back. That's a good like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours worth of work to just get tickets to go to Hollywood the following week. Today I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, walked to my couch, sat down, and Star Wars played. A brand new Star Wars played right before my eyes. And as much as I didn't care for it, it's still amazing that, holy crap, I can just put on a new Star Wars. Right now, I can go put on a Star Wars I haven't seen before. I can go start watching Bad Batch. So it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I'm mad at the episode.
And Visions. You should really watch Visions.
I mean, I'll watch both. But the thing is, it's like, if you complain about Star Wars, like, here's the thing. There's a Star Wars for everybody. And if there's a Star Wars you don't like currently, don't worry. There'll be one that you like coming up. And so, like, as much as I didn't like this episode, I'm not dwelling on it. And I you know, it's done with. You know, time for season 4.
I will say, I'm going to try, and Riley Bob says I'm going to try to get through Rebels before Ahsoka. Worth it, absolutely, because we're rewatching Rebels right now. Maybe that's a bit of my problem. I'm almost like reading ahead in the book a little bit, in that I'm watching Rebels and we're watching at least an episode or two every night, like as a family, and so the pacing there's a little bit slower, and it's a little bit more time to build and flesh out things than this season of Mandalorian took. And I think Hex said as well, like, the pacing, I think, is the biggest problem for this season. I think that's for me too. Like, I like the points, I like the things that happened, but even in the case of Bo-Katan, she has such a incredible backstory. Like, she has so much history. And I get you want to bring the casuals in, and I agree, but but you're not really like fleshing out the character for like newbies in a way that makes her that much more compelling. Like, you could have done flashbacks, you could have talked about Satine, you could, like, there's so much stuff there.
Haven't even mentioned her sister once. Which is weird because of Filoni being on the show. Maybe it's something that they want to, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just not the point of the show or what we're going to get. But but it would be nice. So one thing though, Ahsoka and you know, Sabine and Bo, they all know each other.
Yes.
So, you know, if we're and by the way, was it a little bit of a heavy wink that you could just pick out Dave Filoni at the bar at the end?
Yeah, that was like, I was like, hey, there's.
He was here last episode. Yeah,
he was, but this one he was like, oh, there's Filoni.
He's there. So then that kind of makes me wonder, like, was it his? I mean, he didn't direct this episode, but
no.
Is there a little bit of like he's done with the Mandalorian? Is he going to be all Ahsoka now, or are they just? I mean, the guy can only do so much.
I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka thing because he's doing it. Ahsoka's his baby, and I guarantee you this is going to set up a lot for the movie he's doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
well, and we really haven't had Jedi stuff in the Mandalorian. You know, we only have the Darksaber, and we have Grogu every now and then pull out a little bag of tricks, but for the most part, we don't have all of that lore and all of that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Grogu to get shot in the chest.
Yeah.
They set up that whole thing that he has the little armor medallion.
I was waiting to find out that he had a little tracker in him, and that's why he was green. He was the green dot on the map. I was like, oh, this is all coming together. But
I like that he was a green dot.
The truth be told, I'm not butthurt that any of my like plans did, you know. I was actually kind of happy that, like, oh, I'm wrong. Grogu didn't wield the Darksaber riding the Mythosaur. That can still happen in season 4.
I'm in the same boat where like all the stuff that didn't happen, like the armor and stuff, was,
right? Like
I'm like, okay, cool. It subverted my expectations of what I thought it was going to be. So on that level, I'm like, okay, cool. It's not predictable, but at the same time, I want something there to like wow me. I didn't see that coming. Like Andor did that a lot. Obi-Wan did that a lot, even though we knew the story of Obi-Wan and Vader. Like there's some stuff in there, like when Vader started burning Obi-Wan alive. Like I'm like, I did not expect that.
Yes.
That is crazy. So I just needed a little more oomph to the episode.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I'm excited about season 4. I'll tell you that, because all the epilogues,
I love the epilogues,
epilogues, like all that stuff that they set up. I'm like, great. Yeah. I wish I could have seen some of that stuff in this season. But
agreed.
Hopefully they're focused, and hopefully with Dave Filoni tying all this stuff together for this movie, that he's like gone in Kevin Feige style and been like, okay, Mandalorian crew, I need you to get to this point.
Yes, I'm
getting to this point in Ahsoka. Is it Skeleton Crew? I need you to do this specific thing. Like I'm really hoping that by announcing that movie, it's the same as them announcing the end date for Lost, where they can be like, okay, we know how this is going to go. Here we go. And I feel like season 3 of The Mandalorian is season 3 of Lost. But like the beginning 6-episode pod, like it's like, it's not terribly exciting to see Kate and Sawyer in cages, but where we go after that point is definitely more.
I love the back half of season 3 so much, like every episode after the pod. But there is another writer strike coming, so maybe that'll make things harder. I will say this isn't quite as awful as the Bluey take we had last week, but I'm shocked. Tommy the Duck finished season 2 of Rebels and is feeling meh when they did not like the whole mysterious temple and the secrets of the Force thing. I think Twilight of the Apprentice is like a high watermark in all of Star Wars, not just Rebels.
It's a high watermark in Star Wars animation.
Yeah.
It's up there. So did you watch it while you were on your phone?
I don't remember which season, and I don't want to spoil anything. There's 2 big lightsaber duels that really stand out in Rebels. Both of them involving people from the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
So that's the one with Fulcrum. The Fulcrum lightsaber.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
I really like that. So that
that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking.
But I mean, Tommy,
you talking Twilight of the Apprentice? I'm talking Twilight of the Apprentice.
Tommy, there's some good stuff coming up, and I hope there's definitely some Rebel stuff that you don't need to watch again. But we started back with season 1, and it picks up a lot quicker than I remember.
Yeah, it does.
I think we're like maybe 10 episodes in, and I'm already like way into it with Callus and Tarkin.
Yes.
And like the Lando episode's kind of like not filler, but it's a nice little side lighthearted side story. But he's got me talking about cartoons. But no, Rebels.
I agree.
I love Rebels.
And there's even in season 2, none of them feel like Clone Wars or something. Like I can completely skip this episode. I will not miss anything. But even this one, where you have it, could be kind of just a throwaway side questy type thing. Well, it's the introduction of the Purgles, so it's still an incredibly important thing. And then there's another one where you have them finding was it what's the Lasat planet or whatever?
Yeah.
It's still a really impactful episode, even though you could see it as like a side questy episode, but it still has impact to the greater storyline.
I'm not a huge fan of the giant space ox ghost thing and the world between worlds.
I know you said that, and I was like, okay, well,
I love
but I'm glad.
The music.
I'm glad I know about it.
The music at the end of that it's a crime that they haven't released that on a soundtrack. They never released a season 4 soundtrack for Rebels, and I just don't know why. So and the last scene in that specific episode is so beautiful. It's like a Turner landscape come to life. It's just, I don't know. It's so touching too. Like that's actually a part 2 of, there's a part 1, and there's just, to me, there's emotional beats throughout season 4 that are just like so strong that it's just, I don't think I've had that emotional connection to the Mandalorian as I do with the characters that I have with, and hopefully one day I'll get there, you know, like, you know, there's definitely moments where I'm, but not at that level of I don't know. And maybe it's that family unit aspect.
So. A lot of people are talking about how they like Bendu. That's the character I was talking about. And I think, you know, at the time I saw it, I was like, this isn't Star Wars. But now I've kind of gotten used to the concepts and stuff. I still don't know about the world between worlds. Time travel's real in Star Wars sounds really, really dicey to me.
But it's not time travel.
But I just like how much more like in nature they went with the Force, and just like with the wolves and the like. I love how much, and it was in season 3, right, with that like moose dude who's sitting there on the planet guy. Like, I can't remember his name. The big
that's Bendu.
Bendu. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Voiced by one of the doctors.
So yeah, I just loved all of that. It felt very like we're just diving more into the Force in a way that like midichlorians was trying to dive into the Force, but made it feel and this felt more like you're going into the Force, but it still feels mystical, which is cool.
Stevie was reading some High Republic book where she was talking about how they really explore sort of the different factions of Jedi and their teachings and what the Force means to them. And Qui-Gon believed in the living Force, and that the Force was in midichlorians, but that's not necessarily what Obi-Wan believed. Obi-Wan believed it was more of an energy field, the more, you know. So it's kind of cool that there's like
see that in their teachings too.
Said, she told me about some Jedi. This is great that I married someone who reads so much, because I don't have to read the books, but I get all the cool stuff filtered down. She was saying like there was a Jedi who thought the Force was music.
Yes,
and there was there was like a sort of a wavelength, rhythm
that's a cool
in the universe, and it's like great. It's like that's cool. It helps you swallow midichlorians a little bit better, like the whole concept of it, by just saying no. There's all kinds of ways you can view the Force. It doesn't have to just be one thing, and it's nice because it's kind of like Lost, the finale of Lost, like with the stained glass window with all the different religions. Like, hey, listen,
spoilers for Lost.
You it can be anything, you know. It doesn't. There's no one God. It's like everything you believe is a belief, and it can be construed in different ways. I haven't seen Battlestar Galactica.
But I also like the worlds thing, and just how they really got in. Because it ties directly into some of my favorite Clone Wars episodes, where it's the father,
the Trinity,
daughter, the Trinity,
the Mortis, I think. Is the Mortis trilogy.
Adore that trilogy of episodes, and it felt like it expanded it more, and I don't know, I really freaking love it.
I'm really excited about the fact that the announcement of a Dawn of the Jedi kind of movie, and the fact that they're gonna, you know, have a movie that goes back that far, because there's some really interesting. There's a book, Dawn of the Jedi, which I've read. I really liked it. There's a comic series as well that's kind of loosely connected. I think some of that stuff was wiped out, or some of it crossed over. I can't remember, because I get confused with like, well, that was in Dark Horse, and then Disney took over, and then this book came out or whatever. But it's fun because it is kind of an open area, and I like it when Star Wars gets weird and gets into some science fiction. You know, like going back to that Coruscant episode this season, like that was like a dystopian nightmare episode, right? You know, we had the Alice in Wonderland, Logan's Run Through the Looking Glass episode, you know, and then we had this Harryhausen like influenced monsters season. Still disappointed we didn't get the Mythosaur like full on, but I'm glad that they you know, it's like, I guess that was the rattlesnake in the mailbox at the end, but whatever. There's nobody in the casket. It's empty. Anyway, I just
let's end the discussion here so Kayla can come back in the room because
Okay, yeah. I'm done talking. We're done talking about Rebels.
Okay, gentlemen, final thoughts so we can go to Meme DeLorean.
I look
Ralph.
forward to the next Star Wars.
Agreed.
Yeah. This wasn't a win, but it wasn't. I didn't hate it.
No, go ahead, Matt. Have the floor without any interruption. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was interrupting him. I enjoyed the episode more than the other two.
Yeah.
And I medium enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
It's just to point out Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
Like loved it, hated it. I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
Sometimes
and
what we
different
get.
opinions are okay.
So,
it's just as long as you're not jerks to each other. And I feel like we all were allowed to breathe and have our opinions without them being pooped on.
Yeah.
Unless it comes to a certain Australian cartoon. That
Listen,
pile on Ralph.
Wasn't even gonna bring
Ralph,
it up.
Listen. The visceral response you caused.
It was in the Discord afterwards too.
Oh yeah.
It derailed the whole show.
Matt, you're not even in the Discord. Like the whole Ralph not liking Bluey thing it nearly broke the internet.
Can I tell you?
What?
Can I tell you? After I shut my mic down, I took out my earpiece.
Oh yeah. What happened? What happened with Stevie? Yeah.
I got up and I walked into the room. She was beet red and she looked at me. She's like, I had no idea. She's like, I had no idea. I said, I didn't want to yuck your yum.
Jeez,
but
okay.
But also I don't think she noticed like any time I can make it through the 7 minutes. But as soon as like it played through the credit, the little thing goes around and it goes to the next episode, that I would get up and do some work on the computer. But I don't want to say I don't want to keep her from having fun. I don't want anybody to not have fun. But I can remove myself from a situation. But I said, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't want to be mean about it. There's no reason for me to be like, I don't know, Archie Bunker about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 7 minute long cartoon that she really likes and I really don't. And it was.
But you hear always saying cartoon. It feels dismissive
was,
when you like a 7 minute cartoon.
But no, that's on me because I can't I'm not even patient enough to sit like that long. Like it should be like the easiest thing to sit through. But it was utter shock.
Yeah.
The look on her face was utter shock.
I kind of wish she had like a GoPro or something just so we could have like captured that. All right.
Meme
DeLorean. Let's close out this season, gentlemen.
All right.
And I love
now
this.
What? Now what are we gonna do?
I don't know. Take a break.
Yeah.
Ahsoka memes doesn't really flow, like how's that gonna work? Yeah.
Meme Soka?
Meme Sokas?
Meme between memes?
He's already cringing at that.
Hey Ralph, you got one guy on your side, BTG. Listen, BTG, this is a pro Bluey house here.
You're really messing with the wrong people.
We're gonna trust me. There's gonna be. I have an idea for I'm thinking prime time, not even GDL2, a prime GDL video on Bluey. Okay, in my mind.
To be there, I don't have to be there.
No. It'll just be like an actual Geek Dad Life episode about why Bluey is the goddamn best. Okay, and I feel like the majority of the GDL community would be on my side. Anyway, all right, let's check out some of these memes.
Ooh, you want to do a debate? You guys are known for your classic debates.
Oh yes, maybe I make that episode, and then Ralph, you and I do a debate. Oh, I think we're gonna Bluey it up. You guys will
be the most talked about debate on your channel.
I wish. All right. I believe the first one was created by Kayla. So here we go. Spoilers without context.
Austin Powers is my
I like the
favorite.
Austin Powers because
Yes.
the cloning reference, and then I love the fact that we see Pedro Pascal and says, "I'm your dad," because he adopts him. That was a really nice moment. Life finds a way. And then last we have the Thanos, like, end of the day, like nothing bad can happen now.
I feel like Kayla did this one for us olds because like I got it. I got every single one of these.
I think these are all people she's in love with too.
That's true. Yeah, that also checks. All right, let's move along here. It was very Rocketeer. I think we had a couple people in the chat say that.
I was there for the Rocketeer. Terminator on fire. I guess that's Moff Gideon.
No, I was thinking more. I thought that was. I guess that was Moff Gideon.
I thought it was
Moff
Gideon.
Grogu and the exoskeleton.
Oh, sure. Sure. Did we have an awards? Oh yeah, we had the baptism at the end. So
yeah,
but
also the We Are Groot. That was a very We Are Groot thing with the Force saving.
Oh yeah, that was
Grogu with his mom and dad.
I know. That's what I said in that. I was like, oh, now we got the family unit. So.
Let's keep moving. I'll start. See, I love the last scene of him just chilling, watching his kid play in the front yard. God, I love that crap.
I think if he took the helmet off and set it by his side.
I agree. He should have taken his damn helmet off.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah,
because then we would have seen him like almost that break in the. Because one thing that I haven't liked is this like whole weird religious cult clan thing. Like, what is that? But
to show that it's an end of an era.
Yes,
like Mandalore's been saved and Bo's in charge. She takes her helmet off. It's okay. He's able to like let down his hair. So I think it would have been cool if he just set down his helmet.
And I think everybody wanted to see Pedro's face at least once.
I agree. Do we even know if he was in any of these scenes besides doing voiceover?
This is the only season where she didn't see him. So
let's see. Season 3, episode 7. Season 3, episode 8. I love that. If you haven't watched Wednesday, you're not going to get that at all. But I think the picture still describes it. Have you not seen Wednesday, Matt?
Yeah.
Nope, I have not.
Ralph, have you seen Wednesday?
I've seen some of Wednesday. I've seen the majority of Wednesday.
Okay. I loved Wednesday. It's great.
It was good.
It's like Harry Potter, but the creator's less problematic and it's like more goth, which is fun.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at Disney, sir, the happily ever after button's at full power.
But I like that stuff.
Oh, sure.
I liked all the epilogue. I was like, I could watch way more of this. Like I'm like hoping they go full Peter Jackson on these epilogues. Just keep going with this stuff.
Everybody wanted, and Kayla as well, wanted to see Pedro in a bed with Grogu just bouncing on the bed with him at the end. Helmet off.
Oh, thank God. Armor, yes, but his parents are far from here. If they're even alive. Good Lord, not another side quest.
That's what I thought.
Then I will adopt him as my own.
That's a good one.
Oh my God. I can't see it now. Is that a hole in his pants?
I can't not see it.
Look at there it is.
It is. There is a hole in his pants.
It happens to the best of us, You have to stretch out the leg. Sometimes it can't hold,
That's where his axe goes.
Oh my God.
Between the axe and the wolves, there's that. That's the spot.
Oh my God. This felt like a plot hole. First, we track down the Mandalorian on our map. Yeah. Next, we let him sneak into our cloning lab.
Yeah, I kept thinking it was a trap.
Then he destroys all the clones. Another one is if I had a nickel things. If I had a nickel for every time Giancarlo Esposito's character dies in an explosion, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. Well, we don't know if he died in an explosion this time, right? We don't know for sure yet.
Yeah. But if he shows up with half a face, then we're gonna.
Then we know, yeah.
Okay, look, if you just kept all your clones in one room, Like that's on you.
He's got
dude.
some on Navarro.
You gotta have extra clones.
He's got
just laying
them,
around.
yeah.
And also get a better system. Like I have two-way verification on stuff like this.
Yes. It's like, here's the button to destroy all of my very expensive clones.
Dude, there was a 10-way verification on it. Each was a red door with 2 clones sitting on the other side.
No, but you need another one.
But if an R5 droid can just like go
stomp in,
then it wasn't that good of a system.
Like notification
right.
was this you that wanted to destroy him? Oh no. Oh, that's where he's at.
Yeah, he needed 2-factor. He needed 2-factor authentication to prevent R5 from just turning off his super security system. Oh, we didn't talk about how that was very episode 1 Maul and the lightsaber duel at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Also, we never solved the mystery of how Moff Gideon was able to broadcast or transmit his message to the other Shadow Council, and yet nobody else can communicate on or off Mandalore. So just a little plot hole that still exists.
Dang, that's a good point.
So I just assumed that they had controls, that the Empire or whatever they're doing, they have controls to block the signals or something.
Okay,
they had a blocker in. But it didn't solve that. Like it wasn't mentioned at all. It just was kind of like it's anyway.
They had to cut the scene where a really long antenna just keeps going up till it goes through the atmosphere.
Yes.
So let's keep moving on here. Somehow Moff Gideon returned.
Half a face.
Same energy.
That's great.
They both walk like puppets or Muppets too. Like, did you see how he was like having his feet moving? I was like, oh, I've seen Kermit do that same thing. Your mama was a Kermit and your daddy was a Yoda.
Now this is a family photo.
Love it. I loved that moment.
That armor's got to be so hot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
I think the Force has a cooling agent as well.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just like a okay.
Good morning. Look how they massacred my boy.
Oh, that just needs to be straightened out.
I'm telling you, there is a robot featured in the Ahsoka trailer.
They also have the full Foundry back working.
Right. But it was a special one.
Anyways, all right. Let's move along. That's the most saddest death in the Mandalorian final.
People speculated there was going to be a death.
Yeah, not the one we expected, I guess. Was it meant to be?
I love Wolverine looking at photo.
Yes, it's my favorite.
That's nice.
And I mean, not wrong. The first thing I do when I arrive at a party, the snacks.
He's always looking for the snacks. That's his jam.
But he knows that Uncle Grief has snacks on the table. Oh, that's not Grief Karga, but
no, that's New Republic. Bar.
It's like good, look like really good. Like
we'll take
those are tater tots, right? Those are some tater tots and chicken nuggies. Chicken nuggies,
maybe.
Pretty much how every dad with a kid arrives at a place. The kid starts eating something. Kid points at something on the wall, and you're like, "Yeah, we'll take that." Right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Just simple officer. Thought it was shrimp. Yeah, maybe it was.
Just saying, never seen Pelimoto on screen with the armorer.
We only got her once this season.
I
could use some more Pelly.
Agreed. In summary, every once in a while, someone amazing comes to your life, and here I am. You're welcome.
Aw.
And that wraps up season 3 of The Mandalorian. Matt and Ralph, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, talking about it. I love talking about it with you all because you each have your own viewpoints and visions and how you think of an episode. And it is but I don't think it's ever contentious or anything like that.
No,
we all love Star Wars.
I love Ralph's views. I hate his views on Bluey, But other than that, I am here for Ralph, and have enjoyed all of the podcasts and shows that I've done with Ralph over the years. So
I think so. Maybe we will do Ahsoka. Yeah, I think that one we probably got to do.
We got a little while before it happens.
Yeah, I guess till August.
I mean, and the only homework I hope that occurs is that Ralph watches Visions.
Oh yeah, you need to watch Visions, Ralph.
I think once we're done with Rebels, we'll be done with Rebels in about a month. I'll probably do Visions because it's nice and short, and then Bad Batch.
Season 4 of Rebels is my fave. So
see, I know
good with
Rebels.
There's moments in season 3 that I really like too.
Yeah,
like
season. We won't say anything else other than that. But
sorry, we're just geeking out over here.
But I will say, just hanging out with the ghost all the time, more and more, I'm like, well, I guess I would be okay with a HasLab ghost. Like, make it big, because it's a big ship. Like, give me.
Yeah.
Rumors are we're gonna get a Lego version of the ghost. So.
I don't give a shit about Legos.
I have a Lego Hera. That's cool. They made a little Lego ghost. It was like this big.
Oh yeah.
And it came with a Hera.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the minifigs. I don't really care much for putting together the toys.
I guess no, we will not have any. Maybe something else. Ralph and I want to talk about something, but
yeah,
but I won't be here.
We got Guardians coming up, and
we got Guardians.
Indiana Jones. Like we got stuff.
Indiana Jones. Yeah,
I only do Star Wars stuff.
I mean, Matt, you can come on whenever. You're welcome whenever.
Okay, thanks. As I invite myself in, I'm like, you guys talking
I will
Indiana
say,
Jones?
We saw Mario Brothers this weekend. It wasn't revolutionary story wise, but it was a fun movie. It was a fun kid movie.
Okay.
I saw Air.
Oh, I need to see that. Was it good? I've heard good things.
It's really enjoyable. You know the ending.
Yeah.
But it's just fun seeing what it took these guys to get to that ending, and it's like all the performances are really well done. It doesn't lag. It just like it's really tight, and every scene is like pretty great. Highly recommend it. It's an Amazon studio film, and Bezos threw every single bit of change he had in his couch to put every single 80s song into it.
Love it.
The soundtrack is nuts.
Yeah.
But it's very, very good.
Have either of you seen Tetris?
No, I need to though. It's on Apple TV, right?
Yeah, it's a fun watch. I
gotta go watch Ted Lasso before I fall asleep. Everybody,
great episode.
Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. It'll make you feel warm and fuzzy by the time you go to bed.
I'm glad we watched it after we watched the Star Wars tonight.
Okay.
I watched it before.
The Peaches song, like my kids have had that on repeat on their Alexa. As a huge Jack Black and Tenacious D fan, I'm good with it. But even I'm just like, all right, no more loop mode. I love Peaches, I do, but I can't listen to that song one more time.
Do you want to know my thoughts on Peaches?
What?
They were made in a can.
Peaches, 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 peaches. Good night. Yes, and may the force be with you always. Take care, everybody, and until next time. Hasta luego. Hey, it's the last time I have to do this song. And goodbye. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.